Now that is one beautiful 1911. Oh boy, you know I always get excited when I speak about a 10mm. This one I'm really going to be excited about because it's a Kimber, it's a 1911. There are a few manufacturers that produce 1911s chambered in the 10mm. And I must say, this gun is very, very special. I thank one of my subscribers, I forget the name of the channel, who turned me on to this gun. I didn't even know it was even available. I scooped it up as soon as I realized that you can get a Kimber 1911 10mm. Really cool. And one thing I like to do with this channel is to bring guns, firearms to you that you normally would not see either online or even in a gun store. This is a pretty rare gun. It's a pretty special gun. One thing I want to say about Kimber is, I mean, all of their frames, slides, and barrels are machined from solid steel. They do not cut any corners. Kimber is really the highest quality production 1911s out there, in my opinion. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. I know you love your Colts, so do I, and I love a lot of production 1911s. But without going to spend $3, $4, $5 on a Wesson Combat and some other ones, I tell you what, for a 1911 for $1,200, when I show you the features of this gun, and it's a 10mm, oh, it's pretty exciting. You got a match grade barrel on all of the Kimbers, and I tell you, all barrels are one piece, and the Kimbers are the tightest tolerances of any production 1911 pistol. When I say proudly made in USA, every part of a Kimber is made in the United States of America. Let's take a look at the other side. Then I'm going to sit down and we're going to talk about this gun. First, let's go to the other side. It's just a thing of beauty. This Kimber 1911 chambered in 10mm is absolutely gorgeous. I hope the high def 1080p really brings out that slide and how they polished it. It's just absolutely amazing. It's not too shiny during the day. It's not going to show up at night. This custom Eclipse 2 is one special 1911. Let me take a seat. We'll talk about it. Welcome to weaponseducation.com. Alright, if you've been following my channel, you know I just adore the 10mm. It's by far the most powerful Glock made. It is more powerful than a 45 ACP. And let's just talk about the 10mm in general, real brief here. There's a couple of manufacturers that produce 10mm guns. Of course, we have Glock. Thank you, Glock. They make the 29 and they make the 20. Okay, so for a reasonable price, you can get a 10mm for maybe $550. Okay, this video is not about the Glock 10mm. It's about the Kimber 10mm, but I just want to talk more about 10mm. You can also get this right here, the Colt Delta Elite. This is what started it all. And let's talk about the history of the 10mm. My wife is here, Tammy. Please take a look down at these two rounds right here, real close. You see the smaller round here, well that's the 40, and the larger round is our 10mm. Massive, massive firepower, knockdown power, as I should say. Incredible. I mean, people hunt deer with this thing. I'm not a hunter, but oh boy, it's Ted Nugent's favorite round. Take a look back up and I'll tell you how the 10mm came about. You see, back in 1986, I did a video on this a long time ago, by the way. Back in 1986, there was what's called the Miami shootout, and a bunch of FBI agents got killed, and it was a mess. And they were using 38s at the time. So they went to Smith and said, gosh, you know, we need a more powerful round. All right, so Smith comes out with this awesome 10mm. And they Colt followed up, and this is still in production today, this 1911, this Colt Delta Elite. And I've had this almost 30 years. I got this back in 84, so I'm 2 years away from 30 years of owning this gun, one of my first guns ever. So what they did was they said to the FBI, here you go. And Colt says, here you go, here's a 10mm. And Smith says, here's a 10mm, go take care of the bad guys. FBI comes back and says, it's a little too powerful for some of our agents. Come on, FBI, just joking. Too powerful? So they shortened up the round to a 40, and that's how we got the 40. But the 10mm is still alive, and I'm going to show you some ammunition here and how to get it. But this video is focused on this incredible Kimber Eclipse Custom 2, just absolutely very exciting. I really want to thank the sub who turned me on to this. I forget his channel name, but I wasn't aware it's produced. Now for a 1911 10mm, you can get, of course, like I just showed you, the Colt 10mm 1911. You can get this 10mm Eclipse Custom 2 from Kimber, or you can spend thousands of dollars, $3,000 to $6,000 on a Wilson Combat. I'm not sure if Dan Wesson still makes them. I'm really not sure. I think he stopped making them over there. But they're limited as far as 1911s. I'm aware of the Perfect 10 and all the 10mm now, but I gotta say, for a production 1911, for $1,200 is what this gun costs, you're getting a lot for your money. Now, let's just talk about the gun, okay? That's what this is about. Please focus in on the gun right here. You got it? Thank you, Tammy. It's Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you.
We're gonna have a nice Italian dinner later. And I got you out here doing videos before we go to dinner. So let's get this going here. What we got here is a full-size government model 1911 chambered in 10mm. It's a hefty 38 ounces. I mean, this is a nice chunk of steel. The length is not too short. It's 8.7 inches. You got to think about these things when you're carrying. Magazine capacity is nice. 8+1. It's got a recoil spring of 16 pounds. Pretty cool. And it's got a full-length guide rod. Please take a look up. Let's talk about that a moment. As I blabber on here, I just want to show you the highlights of the gun. All safety check guns. Take the magazine out. Look at the guide rod on that. So, when you want to disassemble it, by the way, look at that slide. Look at that. It's like silk. Tight. Tight as a clam. Okay? When you want to disassemble it, Kimber sends you this bushing wrench, and it's nice. You just put it on there and spin it and pull your gun apart. Very simple. So it does have a full-length guide rod, which I like. So does the Colt Delta Elite full-length guide rod. What else can we talk about on the gun here? Let's move along here. Okay, now let's look at this. Let's just zoom in close here, please, to the slide finish, because that's one of the things it's brushed. It's a brushed steel, it's polished, and it's hard to explain. It kind of reminds me of my SIG Equinox. It's not too shiny, it's not too dull, it's just absolutely perfect, and you just gotta have this gun in your hands to really appreciate it. I love everything about it. Let's talk about the barrel. I mentioned is 5 inches. It's got the match grade steel barrel, and it's people complain about the main housing being plastic or polymer, whatever product this is, but I've never heard of one breaking ever, so I have no issues with it. The sights is something to talk about. Let me put it right there. Take a look at the gun, because I have some notes on the sights here. They're called Mepro Light. Can you see the sights right there? Okay. Now Mepro Light is widely used by Kimber, Glock, HK, Carr, Mossberg, Remington, Benelli, all of them. And they claim to be 20% brighter than the competition, and they'll go for years and years and years and just keep glowing and glowing and glowing. Comes stock on this Kimber. So, take a look back up. Beautiful, excellent sights. If you wanted to buy these sights individually, they're about 120 bucks. So the sights are incredible. What else you want to talk about? How about the grips? Please take a close look at these gorgeous grips. All the Kimber grips are beautiful. They're all pretty similar. The grips are laminated. They got the double diamond, and the trigger is really super special. Zoom in real close to the trigger. It's really cool the way they skeletonized that. Premium aluminum, match grade, and what I really like, I shot this morning. I ran to the range before I did the video. Got 50 rounds through it. I was in and out. Ran perfectly. They claim the break-in period, by the way, is like 300 to 400 rounds. You know, it's a 1911. It's a precision-tight gun. It's tight. So that's fine. It's got a break-in period. And I had no issues with the first 50 rounds. They say run your full metal jacket the first 300 rounds, and then go at it with your hollow points is exactly what I'll do. We'll talk about ammo here in a moment. But the trigger is only 4 to 5 pounds. And I'm telling you, I've got some 1911s that cost me about $3,000, and this feels the same. $1,200. You know, it's still not cheap. I'm not saying it's inexpensive, but I tell you what, most really good 1911s in modern day here in 2012 cost about $1,000. I know the Ruger's a real good one for the money. I forget what they charge, $700, $800. But this is $1,200, and you're really getting a lot of bang for your buck with this gun. And it's a 10mm. The 10mm round, if you have not shot a 10mm, please take a look up. Let's talk about the 10mm round a little bit more. It's just really something you got to shoot to appreciate. The 45 is one thing. The 10mm, this is like, here's the 45 to me, and here's the 10mm. I'm talking massive knockdown power. You can look at some videos on YouTube of what they do with that 10mm round, shooting through windshields and blowing stuff up, and it's just, gosh, this thing is powerful, powerful. Let's talk about ammo, because everyone always says, then we'll go back to the gun. Let's talk about ammo, because everyone says, well, the 10mm, it's so hard to get ammo. Yeah, it kind of is. But what I do is I go to Georgia Arms. Please zoom in here. And what you want to do is, they have a whole different beautiful website of all these different options. $200 for 500 rounds, 10mm, full metal jacket, brand new ammunition. They come loose. You know what ammo looks like. They come loose in here, and it's just a chock full of nuts. It's just a lot of fun in here. Okay, so you can go to Georgia Arms, and that's what I do. I go to Georgia Arms, and they're not always available. But when they're available, I'll scoop up 2, 3, 4 of these buckets here, and I'm good to go for the range. Now, for personal protection, these are readily available, these 3 options here. Please take a look down. The double tap, very pricey. I did a video on double tap. These things, they're like, every 4th or 5th one is hand tested, and they do so much to this ammo to make it precision. It's one of the most precision cartridges there are out there. So you got double tap for 10mm. Any day of the week, go online, you can buy it. Same thing with Hornady, and the same thing with Winchester. And these are silver tip hollow tips, hollow points. All of these are hollow points. So to get hollow point 10mm is a non-issue. To get range ammo 10mm, yeah, you gotta go to Georgia Arms, and you gotta stay on top of them. All right. Everything about the gun is really, to me, is pretty custom. As far as the serrations, they're really grippy, really. Now they have them on the front. Some people like it, some don't. The Colt does not. The Kimber does. Aesthetically, it looks cool, but no one really uses these serrations up front. You've got the beaver tail, which fits perfect. You've got the grips safety on the back, which is perfect. I really found nothing wrong with it after shooting my 50 rounds through it. This is your first glance. Oh, look at the front serrations. This is something, please zoom in real close to that. This is something, of all of my guns, I've really never felt front serrations like this. And it's not polymer. This is the real deal. And I tell you right now, I don't know the lines per inch, but it's really tricked the way it feels. I know it's not going to slip in your hands. Very special. When I purchased it, finally when it arranged at my gun shop, first thing he said to me was like, gosh, the front serrations on that grip is awesome. The look of that polished, all the craftsmanship that went into that polished frame and slide. I mean, going all the way down to the side of the grips is just all this beautiful polished steel. Just incredible. It says 10 millimeter. I don't know if you can read that real close. Can you zoom in real close? It does say 10 millimeter right there on the barrel. And there you have it. We're gonna go shoot this at the range. Please take a look up. I already got a bunch of spare magazines for it. Got a lot of range videos to do, Tammy, right?
Sure.
We promised
Yeah.
I'm going recent memory now. We got to shoot the 10 millimeter revolver. That's a revolver. The Smith & Wesson 3, what is it? The Night Guard. I forget the number. The 310, I think it is. We got to go shoot that. The 10 millimeter Smith & Wesson revolver. Okay. And
Okay.
all right. And then we have to shoot the 340, the little J frame. I'll shoot the 357s. You shoot the 38s. And then you've shot 10 millimeters in the past. You've shot this. You had no problems, right?
No.
No? Right.
No.
Zero. And you enjoyed it. I did a video called Recoil Every Caliber.
Yeah, I shot most of them, so.
Yeah. And the 10 millimeter, it is a big bang. But I just want your input on this gorgeous Kimber. Kimber in general, made in America. Very proud to own American products. And I'll tell you what, you gotta have a 10 millimeter. I'm sorry if this is gonna cost you some money, but a 10 millimeter is the bomb. And oh, I got this custom made holster for my government model 1911s. I bought it from my own site. And the leather is so much thicker than any other production. This is as custom as it gets. And the leather is twice the gauge as production leather. So it fits perfect. I'm ready to go. All right, that's the end of this video. Tell me what you think of this Kimber 1911 chambered and 10 millimeter. Please subscribe. Please tell a friend. Thank you so much. I care about all of you.